asked a few people to tell me how they moved on from heartbreaks, various type of heartbreaks, any type of heartbreak, romantic relationship heartbreak, friendship heartbreak, disappointment from not getting what you want. Asked them, and 5 people responded. Thank you so much to the 5 of you. Some mentioned their names, some didn't, but I am super grateful for these responses that you give to me. Thank you so much. And I will be sharing those responses with you. I want to tell you how to move on from a heartbreak. I arranged everything in 3 ways or 3 mechanisms, 3 steps, 3 ways, whichever way you want to call it, 3 methods. 3 simple but complex. No, simple but bulky. You know what? Just know that there are normal things you can do. Normal things that you've been hearing. But I arranged them in 3 ways. Now, after listening to all of their responses, the 5 of them, I realized that even though they spoke, they didn't arrange it the way I arranged it. They were still pointing towards that direction. But then I'm not going to just go straight and tell you what those 3 are. I'll tell you at the end or close to the end of this podcast episode of how did you move on, the heartbreak episode. Yes, I'm going to tell you, but first of all, we need to hear from them, and I'll be reacting to their responses as well. I hope you enjoy this episode.
Okay, hi. I would say first that it's exciting to be on Dine With Chenemi. I don't know if this part is going to be cut out. Okay, so talking about breakups. Most of the time, we talk about breakups with relation to romantic relationships. And we forget that friendship breakups are valid too. For a lot of us, we realized very early in life that we cannot do this life thing alone. That you need somebody that isn't family, that isn't your flesh and blood, that kind of thing. Somebody out there somewhere that you can, always have it at the back of your mind that, oh, this person is my friend. Goes deeper than an acquaintance, goes deeper than a colleague at work, a schoolmate. Friend is someone that has seen you laugh, cry, someone that, has held your hand and told you, yeah, you're going through this, but I'm right here with you. So, and as beautiful as friendship is, and like other things in life that are really beautiful, sometimes they have to come to an end. And a lot of times, some friendships come to an end abruptly. Sometimes friendship breakups have one person or the other having done something that caused it. Sometimes you guys just stop talking and you don't know why, but it just ends. And you have to live with that guilt for the rest of your life. Sometimes, not for the rest of your life, actually. You can wake up one day and you'll feel better, but sometimes it takes long to heal. You wake up with things you want to tell them, you have places you want them to go with you and all of that, and there's so many memories of them. Come on. A friend is somebody that was an extension of your life. And now you have to do life without them when the friendship ends.
This is something that we cannot argue about. Like, friendship heartbreaks are as painful or even more painful than romantic relationship heartbreaks. It is really valid. I agree with this point.
So for anyone that is going through a friendship breakup, I would say first of all, create new memories. Create new memories. Learn to explore things on your own again, learn to be by yourself again. Stay off social media if they're active on social media, so you don't get to see their posts all the time and all of that, and be reminded. Forgive yourself. I know a lot of times we're like, oh, I could have done something, I could have salvaged the friendship, but well, we're humans. Forgive yourself and open your heart for new people. I really, really wish you healing if you're out there dealing with a friendship breakup.
She mentioned 4 things you can do to move on from a heartbreak, specifically friendship heartbreak. And one of them is creating new memories. That's actually very true. The the things that hurt you is when you remember those things that you were doing before, the memories. So you need to go out and create new memories. And you can do that by being open to new people, by doing things yourself. You have other people. That person is not your only friend. So engage with them, interact with them, spend time with them. She also mentioned opening your heart to new people, which is a way to create new memories. Okay. And I wrote down 2 more things. Stay off social media and forgive yourself. Yes, stay off social media. Well, I will not say you should stay off social media. I would say you should try as much as possible to avoid their posts and their status, like things that will just trigger those memories. So you should try to stay away from those triggers, at least for the time being. And if you're not strong enough to stay away, then maybe you should stay off social media. Somebody like me, I don't think I can stay off social media because I use social media for promotion of my content. Like this podcast, I will need to be on social media to post. I post on Facebook as well. I do content writing. So I would need to be online. I cannot say because of a heartbreak, a friendship heartbreak, I should stay offline. I should stay off social media. What I can do though is to stay off their pages, stay off their platforms. So I don't get to see what they're doing. Because if I see, I will not miss them and you get all of that stuff. And finally, forgive yourself. Yes, she made a point where she said that sometimes you think, what should I have done to have saved this friendship? If I had did, it's my fault. There's something I did wrong. So I should have done it right. You begin to think so far like, what's that thing I'm supposed to do? This actually reminds me of someone I know that I'm not going to say the person's gender, but that person broke up. No, the person did not break up. He was broke. She was the gender the person was broken up with. I'm not going to say whether it's he or she, but the person was broken up with. It was a romantic relationship, though not friendship. And that person kept wondering and kept making noise about it, disturbing her ears repeatedly. Well, I've told you to calm down, but you keep hammering on. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Is it that I did this? But you actually, the person did everything right. I can't think of one thing that the person did wrong. Like, I can't. The person did virtually like everything on that person's part. The person did it right. So sometimes it's not your fault. It might not even be your friend's fault. Things happen. We meet people for a certain season. Some will last throughout the seasons of your life. Some will come in the afternoon of your life. Some will come in the night of your life. Some will come in the morning and leave. Some will come in the afternoon and stay till the night. Some will come in the afternoon and that's just it. We need to open our hearts to that truth. It will help. It will also help relieve you of friendship heartbreak, specifically friendship heartbreak. To think that gaining closure means that you come to a point where you decide that you've moved on completely, you have forgotten about the cause of your heartbreak. You've not just forgotten, the feeling is gone forever. you have gotten to that closing point. Nothing can ever make you to remember again. The feeling can never come back. I thought that was what closure meant. And because of that, I refuse to agree that closure is realistic. Let me explain. Let me explain to you. You know that when you forgive someone, I know we're told forgive and forget. When you forgive someone, do you really forget? You might actually forget the exact thing that happened, but you don't really forget that feeling that you felt. Something will just make you to remember, and you say, "Oh, I remember. I really felt bad when this person did this thing to me, but I've forgiven that person." And so, what forgiveness even means is that I'm not going to do anything about this feeling. I felt bad. Naturally, if you feel bad, you want to go and hurt that person back or something. But because you are forgiven, you are not going to take any action based on it. That doesn't mean that you have not, that doesn't mean that you have forgotten. I beg your pardon. That doesn't mean that you have forgotten. So I thought that was what closure meant. Then I did research and I discovered that closure means you getting to that point of peace and understanding. You've come, yeah, your mind is at peace with the fact that, this has happened. True, true, the heartbreak don't come. Like, you know that if you've been heartbroken before, it depends on the degree of heartbreak though. But if you've been severely heartbroken, it is always like as if it's a lie. You're like, no, this cannot be true. There's something that can be done. No, this is not realistic. Until the scales fall off your eyes, you now realize, it's true. I'm actually heartbroken. This thing is over. When you get to that point where you understand that this thing has happened, you're actually hurt, you're actually heartbroken, and your mind is now at peace with the fact that this is it. I have to start living my life. I have to make myself happy. I have to move forward. When you get to that point, that is what we call closure, gaining closure. And the next person spoke about it. I've listened to it, so that's why I'm using spoke. You also hear it. So she spoke about closure, that gaining closure is a way to help you move on. And that is actually true. If moving on is a movie, gaining closure is the climax of that movie. So let's listen.
To do to recover from my heartbreak is getting closure. Even though it doesn't work for every single person, but it's one thing that gives most people peace to move on and whatnot. But I feel like closure is not something you can get at the beginning of a heartbreak. It's really something that comes weeks later, months later, after the whole heartbreak thing, or maybe in between it. So the first thing I feel like anyone should do is to get busy, get occupied, do things you love. Try to do something that actually takes up your time, so that you don't spend your time dwelling on that pain.
And thinking about it.
Yes, and thinking about it, because the thing about feelings and emotions is that once you keep feeling it, then it never goes. It's it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's because you're giving it time, you're just grooming it. Yeah. But when you get something else to do, maybe you're a writer, you write about it.
Yeah, pouring your heart into it.
Yes, that's actually another one. Journaling. You can always write the
how
whole
you
thing,
feel.
write the whole thing down, and then another thing that is key is for you to actually examine how you feel. So some people are heartbroken, but they don't even know, they don't realize that maybe they're not heartbroken, or they don't realize why they're heartbroken. They just know that it's a heartbreak. But sometimes when you sit down and examine the feeling, you realize that, actually, I'm angry at this person. It's not entirely his fault. I have a part. Then you find out that pain actually reduces to an extent, because now you're weighing both sides.
The part I love the most on everything that she just finished saying, that we just listened to, is the part where she said you should know why you are heartbroken. A lot of us forget to settle down and think it through. Come to the point here. What's the actual cause of this my heartbreak? What even really happened? We don't sit down to know exactly why this is so. It's important to do this so that you can learn some things from the heartbreak and then you make use of it in the future. So I love that point. Anyway, let's go back to getting occupied, which is a very important point she hammered on how to gain closure and move on. See, ba, you just have to replace thoughts of that person with something else. The mistake that many people make is they do this replacement with negative things like alcohol, like smoking, some sex escapades, some will even go into a rush into a new relationship. And instead of focusing on that relationship, they are now using that new person to forget the previous person. It is only natural for us to want to forget what brings us hurt and pain. It is only natural. And so we are looking for what we use to replace those thoughts. But it is better you use positive things that will develop you, that will grow you. That's why you should do things, keep your mind occupied with things that will energize you, that will develop you, and things you love doing. I was reading on one new, is it a newsletter or a podcast? I think it was a newsletter. And so on that newsletter, they were speaking about how to move on from a heartbreak. And the person that wrote that newsletter wrote that you should sit down, think back to some of the things that you enjoyed doing, but you had to compromise. Good things, though, they had to compromise and sacrifice because of that person. As soon as you figure it out, it's not even hard to figure out, then begin to do them. Go back to them. If you had to quit dancing because your partner that just broke up with you, because your partner said he doesn't like it, yeah, things happen like that. Then go back to that dancing. Just get occupied with things that you love doing to help you take your mind off thoughts about the person that broke your heart. I see the good thing about this is that when you think of something, it is not that particular thing or person or that you think of that affects you. It is the feeling that comes to that person. Just experiment now. Try to remember your favorite food. It is not the food itself that will get you excited and smiling. It is the joy and excitement, that feeling of joy and excitement because of that favorite food. That is what makes you to be bubbly. Now, when you think of this person, it is not the person that is affecting you. It is the hurt, the feeling of sadness, the feeling of disappointment. That is what is now playing in your head. And at that point in time, if you're not careful, you're going to make emotional decisions instead of using your brain. This is why it's important to replace those thoughts with things that you love. As soon as you are thinking of that person, just get involved with something that you love doing. Even if it's reading a book, that you get into it, it's even helping you to develop yourself.
Hi, my name is XZ, and I'm talking about how to move on from a heartbreak. Yeah, for any kind of heartbreak it means that you are broken in the heart. It's just like you have an injury in the heart, and like an injury, if you need to give it time for it to get healed, and also if you continue touching it, it will not get healed faster. So my advice is this: once you want to move on from an outbreak, you give yourself time. You're not going to overcome it immediately, but then give yourself time. And within this period that you're giving yourself time, you make sure that you stop touching the wound. You stop going back to what actually broke your heart. Like if it's a relationship, maybe your your boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you, you can just delete these are our contacts, delete these are our pictures, text message, anything that will make you remember that person. and anything that will make you see that person, you get, avoid the person. And then also within that period, you not want to stay alone. You don't want to be alone at all time, because when you are alone, you'll be thinking about the heartbreak. So I advise you that don't always stay alone. Try to interact with your friends, mingle with your friends, hang out, and just give yourself time. A couple of times you see yourself overcoming and getting strong. People normally think that it's very easy to overcome heartbreak, but it's a lie. It's a lie. It's slowly might actually even lead to depression, but then to overcome it, give it time and avoid touching it or going back to it. So that is it. Thank you.
Delete, oh, delete, delete the number. If it gets to that, what am I saying? If it gets to that point, see, delete it. It will help you. Remember that the first person spoke about staying off social media, and her reason for saying you should stay off social media is also the same reason for this person saying you should delete that person's number. It's going to help you, especially if you are someone that will always fall back. No, let me not put it that way. Okay, if you are someone, if the person was someone that, let's say, if you're feeling sad and you just call that person, he or she will just encourage you, motivate you, notes the right words, to just give you. It's most likely that when you are now sad, you want to rush to get that person's number and just call. And you putting yourself back, going back to that person is going to bring you more hurt than ever before. So it is better you just delete the number. Just delete it first. If, for example, you are colleagues and you just have to be in each other's space, whether you like it or not, delete the number for the time being. Then when you have started learning to live for yourself and you're happier, you're able to live without that person, stuff like that, then you can get the number back if it is important and necessary. Only at that point I would say you should you should get the number back after deleting it. Then he spoke about not being alone. This is so valid. Remember when I said it's not the thoughts of the person or the thing that is affecting you, it is the feeling that comes with it. And when you think of that person, the feeling, you feel hot, you feel sad, you begin to ponder on those emotions. And when you ponder on those emotions, the actions you are going to take will not be positive. Whenever you are excited, the actions that you usually take are bubbly and energy, with energy. You're doing things with energy and so much vibes. But when you are sad, you do things sluggishly. In fact, you don't even want to do anything. I just want to lie down and sleep, and I don't want to talk to anybody, that kind of thing. You're going to be sad during a heartbreak when you are disappointed. And when you are sad and you are alone, you begin to think a lot of negative things. Before you know, you fall into a depression, and then you start hearing things like suicide and all of that. So just be in somebody's space almost all the time. Be in somebody's space. Do you know that even losing a loved one, could cause you to be heartbroken? At that point in time where you are grieving, you also need to not be alone all the time. The number of times you should be alone should reduce to the barest minimum. Try as much as possible to always be in somebody's space, especially not just anybody's space, because you can be in somebody's space and that person will frustrate you, will even add to your sadness and depression or grief. Be in somebody's space that is bubbly, that person is someone that you love, person energizes you, motivates you, helps you to even forget about your worries and the troubles and the grief and the sadness, all of that.
Hello. Um, so I'll be saying how I moved on from heartbreaks, how I moved on. I've had my fair share of heartbreaks. I won't want to bore you with my stories. Let me go straight to the point. Um, so whenever a guy breaks my heart or a guy hurts me, or if I'm trying to forget about a guy because he's not a good influence to me, I first of all delete his number. But this deleting number doesn't work like that because sometimes you save it back. If he chats you up, you save it back. You delete it back, you save it back. Then I pray. I know prayer is supposed to be first. Huh? I pray because, yeah, I can't do anything without praying. Then after praying, and I'll like remove my heart from the guy, thoughts about him. I try to stop thinking about him. I try to, fix my mind on something else. Anytime the thought of the guy comes, I just do any other thing. Then I now keep my heart in order. I don't know how I do it, but it takes a lot of time for me. It takes a long time because if I'm walking and I see the guy, there's this sharp pain or feeling I feel in my heart. Then I tell my friends about it and they pray with me and they advise me. Shout out.
So here again, we have another person affirming that deleting number is valid. The- Deleting the number is necessary, very necessary. And then I love the point that she brought about prayer. Yes, except you don't believe in God. But if you believe in God, prayer is medicine, prayer is life, prayer is intimacy with God. Just go and cry and pour your heart to God, and you feel better, at least for a start. That should even be the first thing. Pray, pour your heart to God, let God lead you, let Him help you to heal, let Him help you to move on. Because if it's by human beings' help, or for human beings to motivate you to be there for you all the time, it's not enough. You need to pray. You need to pray. You need to pray. And then she spoke about fixing her mind on something else, which we've already spoken about before when I was saying you should get occupied with the things you love. We already spoke about that. But then there's something she said that I want to point out, and I want to hammer on at this point in time. I want you to put it at the back of your mind that it is not easy. It can never be easy. This is except if the heartbreak that you are facing or that you faced is just something or was okay. This episode is how to move on. So it is more valid and more appropriate for people that are actually going through a heartbreak. So if you're going through a heartbreak right now, let me just speak to you directly. It's not going to be easy. I don't know the degree of heartbreak that you're going through, but no matter the degree, it is not easy. The reason why you are heartbroken is because you are disappointed. You are very hopeful that if it's a romantic relationship, for example, that it was going to be smooth and it was this is it, I've gotten it, this is what I wanted. Probably you've even thought that okay, this is going to lead to marriage, all of that. And then if it's friendship, you thought that this friendship will last forever. This is your guy, this is your paddy. If it's a job, you're so sure that I've applied for this job, I did everything correctly, so I'm going to get it. And then suddenly you don't get it. It is really very disappointing and heartbreaking because you've already convinced yourself that this is going to work. How are you going to now unconvince yourself when you're already so sure? You're already so sure. So it is really it's really, I want to say heartbreaking, but no, let's say disappointing. Yeah. And as disappointing as it is, it's not something that you just feel disappointed once and then you just, that's all. Let's move on with life. It's not that easy. In fact, for every single thing that you will do to relieve yourself of heartbreak, of this heartbreak, to move on, for every step that you take, even if you take it with intentionality, there's every tendency that you fall back. There's every tendency that after deleting that girl's number, you see yourself saving it back. After deleting her picture from your phone, you see yourself going to look for it back. There's every tendency that you see yourself texting that person back, sending them messages, calling them. There's every tendency that you still don't want to believe that hi, this has happened. You still want to right wrongs. But when that happens, you should take it easy on yourself. Take it one step at a time. You did not just rush into this relationship. If you had rushed in, rushing out would be very easy. But it was built. That is why it's even more painful. For the severe heartbreak, that's why it's more painful, because it was built from scratch and it grew over time. It grew over time. And since it has grown over time, it can never be easy for it for you to come to terms with the fact that it has been shattered. That's a lot of damage already done. So know that it's not easy and it's not going to be easy. Just take it easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you tried this method, if you tried one method and as you've done it, you are still falling back, keep calm, be still, try again. I'm telling you, I promise you, if you keep going and keep going every step of the way, give it time. In a matter of months, sometimes years, you realize that you're already detaching yourself and you're learning to live fine, you're learning to be happier. That's pretty much it.
Good day, everyone. Okay, coping with breakups. For me, I think knowing your coping mechanism helps more. You just have to know what works for you, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled at that moment, in order to be able to get rid of the whole stuff. Yeah, just know your coping mechanism and then capitalize on it. Like me, I like food, and whenever I'm heartbroken, I used to have a lot of cravings for different type of foods. So satisfying my cravings helped me a lot, and then I find myself wanting to buy myself things during that time. Like, it makes me happier. For somebody else, maybe going out, hanging out with friends makes them better. So just know what works for you and then you capitalize on it. Thank you.
I love this person's method, saying you should know your coping mechanism. And she said she usually craves food and she just goes out, eat that food, and she feels better. This is actually a short term method of moving on. It's not something that is long term, because how long will you be satisfying your cravings? How long will you? Coping mechanism normally is something that is short term, something that you do for the meantime, at least to cope with the heartbreak, to cope with the stress, to cope with the sadness, the hurt, so that you don't break down completely. Yes, so that you don't break down completely. So you already know normally what works for you, what helps you to, not break down completely. Yes, you're feeling sad, but you're not letting it get to you to a point where you have broken down completely. Like, your case is a gone case. It's only the grace of God that can make anybody to raise your heart again, to make you happy or excited. You just be locked up. But really, I know that there are different degrees of heartbreaks, and for some people it is really very terrible. It's really terrible. Sometimes when I even imagine people that some days to their wedding, their spouse will now say they no do again. They don't want. I'm like, what? Somebody like me, the way I take friendships seriously, that if it has grown, and then a relationship up to the point that if I say that okay, I'm ready to marry you, we're already that close. and then that means you're telling me you don't want again. I cannot even imagine how shattered and broken I'll feel. How unhappy. I don't even know if I want to even love again. And so I know there are people like that. And at that point in time, I don't even know if you even have time to think of a coping mechanism. But hey, this is, like she said, it is something that you have to just do to relieve you. And I will add that it is something to relieve you for a short term, so that you don't begin to misbehave or you fall back to something negative. It's still almost related to getting occupied with something you love doing. Yeah. If yours, you just love to do sightseeing or walking up and down, not walking up and down, but like strolling, please, by all means, when that thing happens, that heartbreak, just take a stroll. Go and clear your head. Whatever you have to do, do it. But make sure that whatever you're doing to cope, your coping mechanism is something positive, not something that will make you that will affect your health, that will affect, let's say, like alcoholism, that will make you to now be drunk or something. No. It should be something that is positive, something that is not harmful to your health, is not harmful to you. That's what I'll advise, in addition to what she has said. Okay, so those are the 5 responses. I said that I have put together everything, how to move on from a heartbreak, into 3 things that you should do. And they are, first of all, you have to pray. Second of all, you have to separate. And third, evaluate. So pray. I've spoken about this before, and I'm going to say it again. Pray to God. Cry out to God. Pour your heart to Him, and tell Him to help you. Don't just pray once. Pray every step of the way. When you try and you fall, you pray. Before you try, you pray. When you progress, you pray. Just keep praying. Just keep praying every step of the way. It should be the first, continuous, and last thing you do every single time throughout the period of you trying to move on. And I believe God will help you. And then secondly, separate. Yes, this is the bulk of the work. This is the more practical aspect. After praying, this is the more practical aspect. If you have to block the person's number, block it. Even though it's harsh. But then you can go ahead and delete. Delete the person's number. Delete pictures. Anything that will remind you of that person. I advise you to put it away. Keep it aside. Delete it. Then while you are doing the separation, the moment you feel, you remember that this person used to do me like this, or used to do me like this, and you want to fall back, look for something that you love doing. We've said this before. Get occupied with something that you love doing. Yes, get occupied with something you love doing. And then finally, you evaluate. The separation part is the longest, because you keep going back and forth. There's every possibility that you get the number back, you get the picture back, you do this. But what is most important is that if last week you deleted the number 5 times and got it back, this week you should be deleting it 3 times and getting it back. There should be an improvement. And even if there's no improvement, don't be too hard on yourself. Look for the tiniest thing that you know that you can promise yourself that, I'm not going to do it again. And I've learned something about moving on from a heartbreak. You have to be intentional. You have to be willing. You have to say, okay, I am ready to move on. Because if you're not ready, there's nothing I'll tell you now. If I like, I should do 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours recording. Call all your people. Call your pastor. Call your your religious leader, call anybody. There is nothing that anybody will tell you that will change your mind and help you to move on until you say, I am ready to move on, and then you begin to take all of these things seriously. Then it will get better. Then finally evaluate. After you have managed to why will I even use manage? No. After you have successfully learned to live without falling back to that person, you're living more relieved. You've moved on. After you've moved on, let's use moved on. After you've moved on, don't just move on and then continue living. Settle down and ask yourself, what are the good things about this relationship, or what are the bad things about this relationship? What are the lessons that I have learned? So that next time when you are involving yourself in another relationship or friendship or any other activity, you don't make the same mistakes you made before. You are even getting better. You've learned new things. Yes. And so that's it. Pray, separate, evaluate. I am even thinking of writing a book about how to move on from heartbreak, but I do not know if I should write it or not. It's going to be an ebook and it's going to be out for free. If you think I should write it, please reply to this reply to this episode. I would see the reply that you have to give, and then you can also comment on our posts on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, I've come to the end of this podcast episode. I hope it was what you expected. If it was not, I apologize. I hope to do better next time. Also, I want to ask you, how did you move on from a heartbreak you went through, whether it's recently or in the past? Please share with me. You can share with me on Facebook, you can share with me on Instagram, you can share with me here on Spotify. Anyway, just don't leave this place without sharing your story. I would like to see them. And when you share them, most likely I will be picking some and reading them in the next episode, which will be coming in 2 Sundays to come. That will be next month, December. Okay, see you in 2 Sundays. Bye.